This race condition broke a $100,000 app that I'm building in production. And you know what the crazy part is? Everything worked in testing. All the unit tests were passing, everything looked good until we actually shipped this to test flight and multiple people started using the app at the same time. So what happened was 2 people clicked the same button at the same time to initiate the same process and things broke. So in this video, we're gonna go over what exactly broke the app in production testing and how I fixed it. So let's go ahead and dive into the problem and take a look at the application. So guys, I have the app opened up here, and this is an app I'm building for an HVAC company. And it basically manages all of their job creation and scheduling, their revenue tracking and invoicing, their inventory, and more. There's also an entirely different technician side of the application that technicians can access to go to jobs and actually perform work, send invoices to customers, etc. And I actually landed this contract for $100,000. So this might look like a simple app to you, but it's actually extremely complex. There's also an entire website that I'm building, and I'm gonna be making videos on the channel going over how I landed this contract and what the build process has been like thus far. So if you wanna see videos like that, make sure you like this one and subscribe to the channel to see more. But let's go ahead and get back to the application. So what exactly went wrong? So here we have our job screen, and we can go to this modal pop-up to create a job, right? So let's imagine that 2 customer service reps, or CSRs as we'll call them, go to create jobs simultaneously. So the backend logic looks something like this. So let's hop over to this diagram. We have CSR1 and CSR2. They both click create job. Now we have this job sequencing system or number system so that each job gets a unique job number, right? So we store the last created job number in the database, and you have to fetch that last number so you can then increment it. So here's what that timeline looks like. You fetch the last job number, you increment it from 1004 to 1005, you create job 1005. But here's where the race condition happened. This actually didn't happen on the front end of things. It was a race condition on the server side of the application. So let's imagine they click that button at the same time, and both of them read the last job number as 1004. That's because this CSR2 could potentially read that job number before the CSR1 API call completes and increments the job number to 1005. So we have a classic race condition here. So both of them read the job as 1004, they both increment it by 1, and we create a duplicate job number with 1005. Now this caused all kinds of problems in the application. You could imagine that the revenue tracking is now off, the invoicing is now off, technicians assigned that job, everything got so mixed and matched, man, and it was like a nightmare. Thankfully, it didn't happen in production, it just happened in our testing process when we shipped the app to test flight and actually had multiple employees testing out the app. And the scary part is this type of bug usually doesn't show up when you're doing your own developer testing. You're typically testing by yourself. You're only sending one request at a time. You're only logged in as one user at a time, and you're not simulating real concurrency. But the moment you have multiple users hitting the API simultaneously, this kind of bug with race conditions appears, and you have to know how to watch out for that and how to solve it as well. And we're gonna get into the solution next. So the correct fix for this is making the job number generation or sequencing atomic. So we'll go over this diagram in a second, but this means that only one request can generate the next job number at a time. There's a few different ways to do this. You can use database transactions, server-side locks, auto-incrementing database fields, dedicated counter tables, or queue-based job creation. So in my case, I moved the job number generation into a Firestore transaction. This uses Firestore as the backend for this application. So transactions in Firestore, as we can see in this diagram, ensure that a group of read and writes execute atomically, meaning Firestore will automatically retry the operation if another client modifies the data during that transaction. So in this diagram, both CSR1 and CSR2 are trying to create a job. Let's imagine CSR fires the call off first. So that initiates a database transaction, and it basically says that, hey, we can't modify or read this data while a transaction is ongoing. So you could think of it as a sort of locking mechanism, right? So until the CSR1 process completes or that transaction completes, then CSR2 is sort of in the queue and they're waiting for that transaction to complete. And then the job will be incremented to 1005 and the next job creation will be job number 1006. So the second request is retried with the updated value, ensuring every job receives a unique job number and eliminating the race condition. This kind of bug is exactly why understanding how to build production-grade networking system matters. Once your app has real users and concurrent requests, back-end state logic, asynchronous operations, you start running into problems that basic tutorials never cover. So this is exactly why I'm currently building an advanced networking course. And if you guys want early access to this, the link for this is in the description. You can head over to this landing page and sign up for early access, where you'll get exclusive discounts, see everything that's included in the course, and you'll obviously get early access to the course before anyone else does, as well as those exclusive discounts. This is going to go far beyond the basics of what most tutorials out there teach you. So if you guys want to learn how to build production-grade networking systems, make sure you check out the link in the description to get early access to that course. And guys, if you like this video and want to see more content like this, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be adding a lot of videos on life as a developer and running a software business. So I'm going to be documenting things like landing high-paying contracts, what the process of building these apps is like, how to get on retainer with these clients to get on some sort of recurring revenue structure with them to provide continuous updates. There's a lot of knowledge I have in this space. This is what I do full-time as an ex-Meta engineer. I run a software company. Doing this education portion of it is really just a side thing. And also, make sure you guys check us out at appstuff.io. We have a ton of professional courses and we can get you a customized iOS roadmap as well, wherever you are on your iOS learning journey. If you're just starting out, if you're already an experienced developer, if you're trying to get a job, we have everything you need at AppStuff to get to where you want to be as a developer. You can check out our courses. We have stuff on interview prep, fundamentals with things like AI and machine learning, test-driven development, Swift concurrency, advanced fundamentals. Our Pro Plus series includes production-grade app builds that can scale to millions of users. I apply all of the tips and tricks I learned while I was an engineer at Meta into these applications. So this is if you guys are really serious about taking your skills to the next level. If you are more in the basic stage of your iOS development career, you can check out these Pro clones, and a lot of these feed into the Pro Plus courses. And guys, you can also check out our learning paths if you don't know where to start. You can take a personalized quiz to get your customized iOS roadmap to figure out where you need to start to get to where you want to be. And also, you can get unlimited access to all of our courses and our content by becoming a member here with us. So you get access to our full library of courses, Pro Plus courses included, for a monthly fee of just $49. That's less than a coffee a day. Or you can sign up and commit to a year-long membership and save a bunch of money. Or if you're really serious about leveling up your career as an iOS developer, we have our lifetime membership here. So once again, guys, check us out at appstuff.io. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Stefan here, saying peace out. We'll see you in the next one.